Welcome to InformOverload, the show where we take the top trending topics on the internet and then make them more entertaining. I'm your host Johnny Rogers, aka the Bacon Overlord, and to never miss another exciting video, click that subscribe button and ring the bell to join our notification squad. Before we get started, leave us a comment down below if you've ever been catfished, and while you ponder that, let's jump right into the top 10 times people were catfished through video games. In at number 10, EverQuest. EverQuest is a massive multiplayer online role-playing game based in a 3D fantasy world. It's very similar to Dungeons & Dragons, where players create characters from one of the 12 races in the game and take their avatar through various medieval journeys. A man on Reddit recounted a story that happened to a good friend of his in the game, and it's absolutely wild. This Reddit user actually officiated the in-game wedding on EverQuest between his buddy and this one female elf character. Yeah, I'm sure you can see where this is going. The pair had communicated for years through photos, phone calls, and playing this game together. They were all fairly well known in the game, and the wedding was actually considered a huge event. Over 200 players crammed into the server to view the wedding. Just a few short weeks later, his wife turned out to be a 400+ pound man living in Georgia. How did he find this out? Well, the FBI had raided the man's home for his other nefarious internet activity, and as a result, they found a ton of correspondence with the Reddit user's friend. In at number 9, World of Warcraft. Another Reddit user by the name of Love Hate had been playing a ton of World of Warcraft. She even entered into a relationship with a fellow player, and things progressed so much that he bought her a plane ticket to meet him in Atlanta. Online, he presented himself as a chef that had been working for a very nice restaurant, but when she arrived, he suddenly had been fired. Upon meeting him, things really started to unravel. He apparently did not work at a nice restaurant ever, but instead a fast food fried chicken place instead. On top of all of that, she had to spend the next 2 weeks with him in a dingy motel waiting for her return flight home. After going with him for a drive to pick up some drugs, she knew real quick that she had just been catfished in the worst way possible. Safe to say, she never played World of Warcraft again and probably never went to Atlanta again. In at number 8, GTA 5. PJ Vaught from WNYC was on the end of the catfisher for reasons we will never really know. This is perhaps one of those rare examples of a catfish by accident sort of situation. We're guessing PJ doesn't want other players to know that it's actually him playing the game, so instead he uses a username called the Silver Woman. PJ noted that his GTA character is a 40-year-old woman with dark bangs and dark eyes. He doesn't put makeup on the character, and the avatar is particularly unfit. He also goes on to say that he only gave her one set of clothes plus a monkey mask for robbing convenience stores. If you play the game, you'll understand that. After playing for a while with another player called Pro X, the guy drove the Silver Woman back to his apartment, which is when PJ decided that he was going to log off. Before he did though, he wished the player a good night, but when he only received an okay in response, he realized that this poor dude was hoping for something more. PJ said he was just standing between two of his cars, because it's GTA, looking very lonely. I felt real and palpable feelings of anxiety and guilt. Oof, catfished by accident. The worst. In at number 7, RuneScape. Another user on Reddit by the name of Batani had been catfishing people through video games since he was 12 years old. First, he admits that he catfished the entire World of Warcraft community by posing as a 21-year-old to earn GM status on the Wowscape server, which was a very popular server at the time. While on RuneScape though, he fooled this man into thinking that he was a woman for an entire year. He had no interest in the man himself. He wanted to trick him into giving this catfisher in-game items. After a while, he was able to get this dude to give him his full dragon armor set before running off and never communicating with him again. I kinda feel bad for that guy. Not my full dragon armor set, no. In at number 6, League of Legends. A guy had been playing League of Legends when he met a fellow player who was clearly from overseas. They played well together, but communication was certainly a barrier that was preventing a lot of meaningful conversation. He didn't know much about this guy, so he chalked up a lot of the weird things that he was saying to some cultural differences that he just didn't understand. He goes on to say, eventually he started calling me his girlfriend when he was defending me, and I realized he full on thought that I was a female the entire time. I messaged him after the game and was like, dude, I'm a guy. And he went on a rampage. The person who was unintentionally catfished began cussing him out and said that he believed that he was a woman because of the username he chose and the fact that he had been using proper grammar and spelling. If that is your level for what a woman is, Lord help you. In at number 5, Neopets. A Reddit user by the name of Hey Brother was huge into the Neopets scene when they were 14 years old. She even had a close-knit group of friends on the game. There was Shelby, Adam, and his sister Kelsey. Adam and Shelby had been dating, but when the pair broke up, Adam started dating this Hey Brother user. She says that at one point he sent her a YouTube video of him and his friends, but there wasn't much talking and most of the audio sounded muffled. She also noted that it sounded like they were speaking German in the video. She goes on to say that when her and Adam broke up, she found out that Adam had never actually existed. Her friend Kelsey had made him up and had been posing as this guy for a long time. When she asked her other friend Shelby about it, she apparently already knew but agreed to keep it quiet to protect Kelsey. God, what a toxic community that Neopets is. Who would have thought? So toxic. In at number 4, BattleNet. This catfish example is told from the perspective of the catfisher himself. When he was only 13 years old, he had met this guy online while playing on the battle.net site and actually tricked the man into thinking that he was a girl. Not only that, but for some strange reason he made the man think that he was this abused Asian girl living in a very redneck town in Florida. Odd choice, but okay. Well, this random man online came all the way to Florida just to meet this fake woman, but the kid had given him a fake address that would still bring him within the vicinity of where he lived. I think this is the man from Saw. He says on Reddit that he actually watched the man drive by the neighborhood several times searching for it. Like he really enjoyed this. And when someone replied asking him for his motives for doing such a thing, he simply said, "Because I was an asshole kid." Okay, fair enough. Again, I'll say it in this video too. Where are your parents? In at number 3, the emotional affair. Posted to the Online Gamers Anonymous page, a woman tells a story about how her husband had been catfished. She starts off by saying that he was a big PC gamer before they had even met, but for the last few months he had been excessively gaming all hours of the day. She admits that 90% of the time she would go to bed alone. Shame on you, dude. Don't ever do that, by the way. Let your girl go to bed alone because you're up playing Minecraft all night. Shame on you. Finally, her husband came clean that he was having an emotional affair with a woman online. However, this online interest of his had suddenly slipped into a coma after an accident, and now he was speaking with her sister. This is the moment she knew that he was for sure being catfished. One of the ways that online manipulators play with people's minds is by making their victim fall in love and then killing off the main character, like it's Game of Thrones, but continuing communication through these fake relatives of the deceased, almost to like just see how sad they are. It's twisted. On to the next one, please. In at number 2, mobile games. This story was posted to the Catfish subreddit by a user named Lady Goldfish. After getting out of a 10-year relationship with her high school sweetheart, she turned to many other outlets to find some sort of community. She admitted that she wasn't much of a gamer, but after downloading an iPhone game that had a social community similar to that of Clash of Clans, she immediately felt this warm, welcoming community that made her nights feel less lonely. On the app, she began speaking to a man who claimed to be a med student in New York City. After speaking back and forth with him for 9 months, another friend from the game sent her a Facebook profile that matched his photos. Except the man from Facebook lived nowhere near NYC and full on had a wife and family. When she confronted him about this, he confessed that he had used this man's photos to create an entire persona of a life that he wanted to lead. Kinda sad. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Coke Studios. This is perhaps one of the wildest rides of a story, and if you get a chance, please read through the entire thing. It's called My Wild 13-Year and Counting Catfish Story, and it was posted by a woman named Vandronessa to the Catfish subreddit. But for the sake of time, I'll give you the TLDR. In 2006, this girl had made an online group of friends from a game called Coke Studio, which I still regard as one of my favorite games as a kid. It was essentially like The Sims, but sponsored by Coca-Cola. And during this time in the game, she met a boy named Colin. For 3 years, he had catfished her before she finally started to Google his name to get some more answers. Eventually, she found a MySpace name that matched, but this Colin had no idea who she was. In 2010, her Colin admits that he had lied about the whole thing and as a result sent a photo of what he actually looked like to hopefully keep this relationship going. Fast forward 9 years and the two are now talking over text message where Colin admits to her that he has been a woman this entire time. So yeah, like 13 years of deceit. On to the next. Now with that, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled Top 10 Dumbest Criminals You Won't Believe. Juanita Beasley says, I really wanted to tell you not to quit your day job being a cop, but you're actually funny. Well, it's a little late for me to become a cop now, so I hope that I'm actually funny. Thank you for that backhanded compliment. Newman Outdoors says, I knew a guy who filled out a job application at a store, then came back a few hours later and robbed it. That is what we refer to in Toronto as a waste man. Sahar Sahid says, this is the new top 10 dumbest tweets. I hope so, those videos did crazy well. Here's hoping we can do 10 more parts of dumb criminals you won't believe. 2020 is our year. Kitchens in K-Tree says, we're proud of you and your expensive paper, Officer Bacon Lord. Aw, thank you. At least someone is. MK says, no offense, but Ron Burgundy came up with Stay Classy. We all know this. I simply pointed out that a fan decided I should start using it. I never claimed that they or myself invented the sign-off. So now, the air is clear. I can feel it. And that has been the top 10 times people were catfished through video games. Thank you for watching Inform Overload, and if you enjoyed this video, then show us some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you give us a follow on Instagram for tons of behind the scenes content. Links for that will be in the description below. And while you're there, why don't you leave us a comment with your thoughts on this list. Plus, for more videos like this one, all you gotta do is click that playlist when it comes up on your screen. From IO, my name is Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay gassy.